All right, welcome to Unit 6, Lesson 1, Simplifying Expressions. This is the independent practice. So, hopefully, you're going to pause this video or stop the video, do the independent practice, and then come back to the video to see how you did. For my remote learners, I want you to be able to get that feedback that I'm giving those people in the classroom. So that's what this video is for. But it's not for you to watch and just walk along with me. You need to try and do this on your own and then come back and check your work with the video. All right, so you're going to drag the expressions that are in the center or in the blue square to the side after you have simplified them. So for instance, A is 30 plus 2b minus 5 plus 3b. If you have a sheet of paper, rewrite this expression to make your like terms together. So for instance, I would rewrite it to say 30 minus 5 plus 2b plus 3b. That way I have my like terms together, and so I know how I'm adding them. So 30 minus 5 equals 25. 2b plus 3b equals 5b. Now remember how I told you that if you have a constant, which is a number without a variable, it goes at the end? Notice how all of the constants are at the end. So I had the 30 minus 5 is 25. It's right here. And then 2b plus 3b equals 5b. So they just have it in this order here. Notice how all of them are like that. So I'm going to drag that and drop it down here. We're going to work on B. The distributive property, I'm going to distribute this negative 5 to negative 5b plus 2. So negative 5 times negative 5 equals 25b, because a negative times a negative equals a positive. So that's 25b. Negative 5 times 2 equals negative 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. A negative times a positive equals a negative. Here's my 25b minus 10. So I'm going to drag and drop that down here. You're going to continue doing that with all the rest of these. Again, do not continue moving forward with this video until you have completed the slide, and now you're going to check your work. Because if you just copy what I'm doing, you're never going to learn how to do this on your own. You need to be able to do this on your own. So now C, negative 3.5b plus 10 plus 4.5b. So I have my plus 10, which is at the end. So I actually can look at these and which one has a positive 10. I don't even have to solve the rest of it to understand that it's going to go over here. But just so you understand that it does that, I have 4.5b minus 3.5b. That's going to give me 1b, or b plus 10. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop that over there. Again, we have distributive property, so I'm going to distribute that in. Negative 5 2 times negative 2b plus 1. So negative 5 times negative 2b equals 10b. And then negative 5 times 1 equals negative 5. Here's my 10b negative 5 right up there. Okay, E, negative 6.5 plus 25b minus 3.5. I'm going to be combining these two like terms here and leave my 25b right here. Again, we can look at our answers. A lot of these you don't have to really solve because the only 25b I have is over here. So all I have to do is drag that over there. When I have a negative and another negative, I'm going to add them together to make a bigger negative. That's where I get my negative 10. So now I have 1/5 times 5b, 1/5 times 50. Because remember, I'm distributing this in. So, excuse me, 1/5 times 5b equals b, because the slides I had before, remember how I put my whole number over 1. I showed you how that works, because anytime you're multiplying fractions, you have to put your whole number over 1 because you turn it into a fraction. So then you multiply the tops and you multiply the bottoms. 1 times 5 equals 5. 5 times 1, remember that imaginary 1 that I'm putting this over, equals 5. 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So that gives me B. Again, I can look once I have figured that out which one it goes to, but let's move forward. I'm going to put my 50 over 1. 1 times 50 equals 50. 5 times my invisible 1 here equals 5. 50 divided by 5 equals 10. So I'm going to drag and drop that over there. Now I come to G. 2 1/3 B plus 7 2/3 B minus 12. Okay, so this one can look a little bit kind of hinky here. The best way to figure this one out, if we're taking a test, is I would take my positive 7 and my negative 12. If I have a positive 7 and negative 12, I'm going to subtract those. That's going to give me 5, a negative 5, because my negative, or my larger number is a negative. So I'm going to end up with negative 5. I don't have to mess with these fractions if I do that, because I look here, and that's my only negative 5, if I look at it. However, if I want to go ahead and add those fractions, I would add the whole number 7 with 2, which gives me a 9. 1/3 plus 2/3 gives me 3/3, or a whole 1. And so 9 plus 1 equals 10b. Then I have 10b, negative 5. I'm going to drag that over. Again, use your strategies to make math a little easier. If you have word problems and you figure out one part of it and you figure out your answers and that has that one part, go ahead and just pick that as your answer if you're really confident in that. If you want to solve the whole thing, that's good as well, just to double check to make sure you have it correct. Now, a lot of you will take this last one and move it over to 5b plus 25, but let's just go ahead and put it in there just in case. I'm going to distribute my 5 into the parentheses, which is b plus 6. So 5 times b equals 5b. Again, at that point I already know I'm confident it's going to go over there. But 5 times 6 equals 30. I'm going to take that 30 minus 5 gives me 25. And I'm going to move that over there. All right, so now you have finished this. Hopefully you did it on your own and now you're just checking your answers. If not, if you're still unsure of what you're doing, we will continue to use distributive properties. So it is important that whatever questions you have, you write down and be specific. Miss Young, I don't understand how to distribute fractions into the parentheses. So I didn't understand F. You could say that. Or I didn't really understand G because the fractions, I wasn't sure what you meant when you said 3 over 3 as a whole. So, and that gives me 1, and I added that one, and I'm not sure how that works. Could you please explain that to me one more time? Give me specific questions when you ask for help, okay? Now we're going to move on to the next slide. Directions. Write the definition in the table below for the distributive property and for combining like terms. And then we have an extension here. This is a link to play an online math game. But before you play that game, let's go ahead and we're going to type in the distributive property law says that multiplying a number by a group of numbers added together is the same as doing each multiplication separately. So for instance, 3 times 2 plus 4, or that 3 is right next to your parentheses. That's what it means when it's right next to it. That means we're going to distribute it in. So we're going to have 3 times 2 plus 3 times 4. That's the example right here. It's written with that multiplication sign so you understand that the number, when it's next to the parentheses, you're multiplying. Combining like terms are those whose variables are the same, or in other words, terms that are like each other. The coefficients, the numbers that you multiply by, such as 5 and 5x, can be different. So for instance, that 5 can be a 7, a 6. As long as it has that same variable, I can add it to any other term that has that same variable. That's what that means. Please put these in your own words. Tell me distributive property means I multiply the outside number to all the numbers inside the parentheses. You could say it like that. Combining like terms. You can give me a bunch of examples if you want, or you can just say combining terms that are like. They have the same variable. They have terms with no variables I'm going to combine. Something like that. So try and put it in your own words. If you're having a hard time finding the words, say like terms, here's an example. You can give me an example. This way I know you have it. If you do not fill out this slide, I will send it back to you to fill out because I need to know you understand the distributive property and how to combine like terms. Once you've done that, again, here's a link to play a small game and relax for the rest of the time, because right now, at this point, you're done. You have completed simplifying expressions. So again, if you have any questions, please be specific, either what slide it's on. Don't just tell me I don't understand this. Tell me what you don't understand. Explain to me where you're having a problem. I get to this point and then I don't understand what to do. So explain to me that, so that way I can help you. Everyone's going to understand things differently. So I need to know how you are or are not understanding something. So you need to be specific for me. Other than that, I hope you guys had a great time with this lesson. I hope that you looked up the accounting and watch those videos. If you haven't, go back to that one and check out what it's like to be an accountant, because expressions and accounting really do go hand in hand. Have a great day.